This match brought to you by Tooheys New. Tooheys New, what mates do. The Extreme Nissan X-Trail. Lowe's Menswear. Harvey Norman, there's a store near you. And the new Bundaberg Rum Dry and Lime.
It's been rare that the West Tigers have started favourites in a game since the joint venture was established 4 years ago. But that was the occurrence when they played Parramatta at Leichhardt Oval. The Tigers have deserved their place in the top 8, as Tim Sheens has found another level from his side, which is a good blend of experience and youth. John Skandalis and Scott Sattler have been two of the older players leading from the front, while Brett Hodgson and Jason Moody were out to add to their old club's woes as the Eels fight off calls that their coach Brian Smith's job is in jeopardy. Could the players put in a respectable performance on the field, or would the Tigers make it 3 on the trot?
It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Sydney and a bumper crowd at Leichhardt Oval for this clash between the local rivals, the West Tigers and the Parramatta Eels. As we look at the two teams, the West Tigers are as per program. They have a number of former Eels in their lineup. Brett Hodgson, Jason Moody, Daniel Fitzhenry and Ben Galea have all spent time at Parramatta. The coach is Tim Sheens. The Eels are as per program, but they've made a number of changes during the week. Brett Anderson and Jack Afamasaga will make their first grade debuts, while Michael Witt and Mal Kafusi will play their first grade games of the season. The coach for the Eels is Brian Smith. And Shane Hayne is our first grade referee this afternoon in control of his 67th first grade game. The Parramatta Eels will defend the southern end of Leichhardt Oval, a packed Leichhardt Oval bathed in sunshine, and the West Tigers defending the northern end and getting first use of the football as Michael Witt gets us underway on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, and the Tigers throw Neil. In fact, it's LaFranchi having first touch of the football. They find themselves 10 metres out from a very high kick from Witt. There's a mistake. The ball has come out. Skandalis has lost it. The touch judge and referee haven't seen it. Steve Lyons on this grandstand touchline. Didn't see that, but I'm sure I saw the ball come out from Skandalis. The Parramatta players screamed at it. Here's O'Neill. Great ball. Great ball to Elfie into space. Hodgson on the inside. Now he's on his outside. Hindmarsh from behind. A try saver, but I think the Tigers blew it there. They go left quickly. It comes from Prince. Now Sattler. They've got numbers. Quick hands tried there from Ben Galea. The ball's on the ground. Was it played at? The referee says play on. Now here's Fitzhenry. Fitzhenry back on the inside to Cavell, but I'm sure they lost the ball. I'm sure the Tigers lost the ball, but that's the luck for Parramatta. They're over, and the Tigers have had a dream start. First touch of the football, they lead 4-0.
A dream start indeed, and the Tigers faithful have come out in numbers, and what a start to the game. The mistake, well, you called it there, Mark, back early on. The Tigers took advantage of the fact that the referee missed it. It went back, but then again, probably should have been pulled up. With the Tigers made a break down the right-hand side, they recovered, kept the ball alive. Prince came around, and they had numbers. They had an overlap situation here. Fitzhenry hit the accelerator, got on the outside, managed to get his arms free, and then back on the inside. Luke Cavell goes over for the try, and what a start for the Tigers. Parramatta come into this game, a club under siege, and the Tigers have capitalised on their lack of confidence early on. Holes both sides of the ground, and the Tigers come up with a tremendous try.
That's the quickest try for the Tigers all year, almost the quickest try for the season. Luke Cavelli's first for the year, but I can't believe that Steve Lyons didn't see that ball come loose. I can't believe Shane Hay didn't see it, and that's the luck that Parramatta's having. When you're down, you continue to be kicked. Brett Hodgson has kicked 10 in a row. 5 from 5 the last 2 weeks. And they don't get much easier than this. And what a start for the Tigers in front of a packed house at Leichhardt Oval. They lead by 6 points to 0, and this will test the character of this Parramatta side. We've had 2.5 minutes of play.
There's Tim Sheens not showing too much emotion at the moment because there's a long way to go in this game. But Parramatta, they are a club under siege. They've lost their last 4 games. Calls from some quarters, many quarters, for Brian Smith to be accountable for that. But the club really needs to stand up today, Parramatta, and show some character, and they've really got their backs to the wall from the word go.
LaFranchi takes it forward. Now Scandalis, he holds on to it this time. Not an ironic cheer from the Parramatta fans. This is Gillier on the left-hand side. Tackle made there by Wagon over the top. Now Scandalis takes it for another hit up. Vella in there with Hindmarsh. Over the 30-metre line they go. Centre at acting half. They come towards the open. LaFranchi, the two front rowers heavily involved. There's an offload, played at, knocked down by Vella, then went backwards off the hands of Prince. Now Benji with the step. Taking the ground there by Dean Witters, who's playing out in the centres, and he is going to find it very hard, marking up against those smaller, quicker players.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first time Dean Witters has found himself in the centres in first grade, and it's going to be a massive, massive, massive test. In attack, I've no doubt he's going to be dangerous, but defensively, I think he's going to get caught out.
Here's LaFranchi, straight over the top. And a player there, I think it might have been Justin Soulos, who's slow to his feet. In fact, it was. Now a penalty right in front. They can add another two here there because Soulos is in trouble. But Parramatta in the hands of the trainers. And will they take the two? They will. And centre deciding that Brett Hodgson will have a shot from about 28 metres out. You see there, Justin Soulos, the trainer.
No. Oh, no, that's not a dominant tackle in his back.
Daniel Wagon speaking, asking a question to the referee.
Well, the Tigers really playing the game up tempo early on, and Parramatta struggling to hit the accelerator to go with the Tigers. The tackle there, effective tackle. Got to release. The Tigers have got a bit of momentum, and yeah, a little touch unlucky there, but still, the referee wants to set his mark and let the players know where the bar is from the word go.
I think he wants the players there to roll away, not climb over the top to get back into that marker position. But they were under siege there again. Parramatta, Soulos was in trouble, still with the trainer. And now Hodgson from about 26 metres out, just to the left of the left-hand upright. There is very little breeze to speak of, if any. And he struck that straight between the posts, so he's on a bit of a roll, Brett Hodgson. He's kicked 12 from 12. He's kicked 2 from 2 this afternoon. And after 5.5 minutes of play, the West Tigers lead Parramatta by 8 points to 0. Parramatta hasn't touched the ball yet.
The Tigers have just controlled this game because they've controlled possession. They've come up with a couple of sloppy passes and been able to regroup. Brian Smith there looking on. He's obviously concerned, but he realises that Parramatta haven't touched the football, but they haven't capitalised on the opportunities that the Tigers have forced a couple of loose passes. They've been a bit slow to get on them.
Well, the Tigers then could have just put a foot on the dead ball line and we would have been back at halfway. As it is, LaFranchi plays it 10 out from his own line. This is Scandalis. The only time Parramatta's seen the football is when Michael Witters kicked off 3 times already this afternoon. They've had 6 minutes of play. Benji Marshall, watch that right-hand side defence for Parramatta this afternoon. There they go. Dean Witters almost caught out again, going in too close to the ruck and leaving a big gap down the blind side. Here's Scotty Sattler up to the halfway line, bouncing away from one, gets away from another. And I know Wayne Pearce, we've had 6.5 minutes of play and they haven't touched the football yet, Parramatta, but the signs are ominous, although there's some good work from Webster. But Hodgson's able to get the kick away. Here comes McKinnon to take it on the full, and Parramatta finally get the football. Let's see what they can do before we make too many rash predictions.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, Parramatta don't need to force passes. They've just got to complete their sets early on, get some field position, and try and put a bit of pressure on the Tigers. The last thing they need, and that's good play, out of dummy half, settling things down, get a bit of field position. That's
Brett Anderson, the 17-year-old on debut. First touch of the football in first grade. Webster out of acting half, away from Elford, who's made almost 2 tackles in a row. Last tackle, in fact, it was Fitzhenry. Last tackle here for Parramatta. Witt under pressure, back to Webster, and smashed straight away by Benji Marshall. It's the last tackle. They've got a new 5'8", Adam Dykes, being dropped to Premier League. Chris Thorman is there as halfback, but Michael Witt playing his first game and not the end of the 6 that they're after.
Well, the Tigers playing like a team in form, a team that's playing with confidence. Scotty Prince had a big game the other night in the State of Origin. He comes into the side, he's taking control, and the rest of the team realise that They've got back-to-back wins and tremendous wins the last 2 weeks, and they are playing as though they expect to win, something they haven't really done well, as a club for a long, long time.
Centre finds Prince, has Skendalis on the inside, uses Sattler. Benji Marshall had overrun it, but they've got numbers, but LaFranchi takes it forward. And Parramatta stretched again. Here comes Benji Marshall down the blind side. He kicks for Cavell. Has he got a double? He's got a double inside the first 9 minutes. The Tigers are on fire at Leichhardt Oval, and Parramatta is reeling. 12-0 with a kick to come.
And it all started with the intensity of the Tigers, the speed of their play, the ball, and putting pressure on Benji Marshall. That's why this kid is talked about as a superstar of the future. He had the vision to see that they had the numbers out wide. Cavell read him really, really well. He was up nice and flat, and the kick was perfectly timed, perfectly weighted. And in the end, it was just a little bit of a grasp by Cavell to get the football, but a bit of an awkward bounce, did extremely well to get it in the end, but great try, Tigers.
He did well also not to put a foot on the touching goal line, his first career double. And there's a chant that I'm sure warms the heart of Wayne Pearce sitting here at Leichhardt Oval. The Tigers chant goes up again at Leichhardt.
Well, when you've got a crowd that's a near-capacity crowd here at Leichhardt Oval, enormous crowd, enormous atmosphere, the game started well for the Tigers. The crowd's going to drive this Tigers team for the entire 80 minutes, and that's going to make it extremely tough for Parramatta to get back into this game because it's a highly parochial Tigers crowd, I can tell you that.
He's kicked 12 from 12. Jason Taylor marking instructions from Brian Smith. They could not have had a worse start if they tried, Parramatta. And it goes back to John Skendalis dropping the ball on tackle too, and that's changed the whole complexion of the game. Here's Hodgson to try and make it 13 from touch. He's missed it. It wasn't a bad strike, but just to the left of the uprights, and so the score remains the West Tigers 12, Parramatta 0. We've had 10 minutes of play. And once again, Michael Witt will bring the ball back to the halfway line for the 4th time. He will kick off, and we've had 10 minutes.
10 minutes of play, and this is some statistic that I haven't seen, I don't think, since I've been calling rugby league games after this.
Out on the full, out on the full, out on the full. It gets worse.
Oh, wow. What I was going to say was we've had 10 minutes of play and 93% of possession has gone to the West Tigers. Well, that's going to bump up even more at the end of this set. Things just ain't going Parramatta's way.
You've got to feel sorry for the poor young bloke. Had enormous raps on him last year. His first opportunity. Here he is looking into the sun, out on the full. Maybe just trying too hard, Parramatta, at times when you get in this position, Wayne. You just try and do things a little bit more than you normally would.
Well, just all the momentum's Tigers, and they're playing with confidence. That's the thing. They're expecting to make breaks. They're expecting to play well, and they've got support there in numbers.
Here's Prince. Benji Marshall coming inside the Galea. Dummy again to Fitzhenry. Had Cavell unmarked on the outside. The pass wasn't well, though. Cavell could have been looking at a hat-trick because he was in the clear with a fullback to beat.
He was. The pass, if it had been spot on, could have been try time again. He had the fullback to beat if he did take the pass, but he's got a good step on him, the kid. The thing is, Prince at halfback and Benji Marshall 5'8", just getting too much room to move and creating enormous problems out on the edges for the Parramatta defence.
Stay.
One against the three.
Listen, use two blokes, no strike until it gets in there. That's what the problem is. Let it get in there first. No. This is it, boys. Righto. Bend together. Bend easy. Ball. Out.
Fair dinkum. If Parramatta would have lost one against the feed, Brian Smith would have gone home. He would have given up and gone home, surely. Quick play the ball. Now, here they come, trying to work it out of their own 20.
I reckon he's got the sunnies on because he's probably got tears coming down his seats.
What can they do? There's a good tackle there from O'Neill. Ashley Graham. Webster having to push Hopkins out of the way. Now McKinnon, it's the fullback doing it. And he's lost the football. You've got to ask, Wayne, why is a fullback taking it up and not one of the forwards for your second set of the afternoon?
Listen, boys, you don't want scrums like the last one, packing it 3 times. Okay, let's bend easy, join, get the ball in and get it out. Wait there, don't, Michael, just steer away, Michael. Yeah, Justin, let him go for a second. Righto. Nice and still. Still. Out.
So another opportunity here for the Tigers. Luke Cavell almost in the crowd over there on the far side of the field, and now Fitzhenry has been forced into touch. Must have been some sort of set play, because Cavell was right on the touchline. And Fitzhenry running across trying to set something up. Great defence though from Chris Thorman.
It was, and I think this is what happens when you get a little bit too cocky. Score some points, couple of tries back to back, score some early points. You tend to get carried away with your capacity to make breaks on that occasion.
Just hold.
They conceded the ball in the first tackle.
Nice and easy. Much better. Stay still. Ball out. Good. Still.
Almost lost on it. He is knocked on by Wagon. Can you believe it? He's given it back to Parramatta. Well, surely he lost that Daniel Wagon in the end. He must have lost it forward, but maybe that's the break that Parramatta's looking for. Try and take some positive out of it. This is Hindmarsh, backing up from Wednesday night. Webster on the blind side. The pass was okay. The crowd thought it was forward. Now Thorman. He's kicking for the corner. Has he put too much on it? Hodgson has it covered. It's a great kick in front. As Witters in front of him. He makes the tackle there with Brett Anderson. Now Moody. One of a number of former Eels in the West Tigers side this afternoon. Here's Sattler. He takes it forward. Quick play the ball, even though it was a dominant tackle. Sloppy one though, so centre runs out of acting half. The crowd thought Sulos was in front of the referee. Now Scandalis. Last tackle here for the Tigers. The Eels' defence has held them well to inside the 40. Prince has lost it. Did it go forward? Referee said back. O'Neill picks it up. Hodgson can't get away from Hindmarsh. Now Benji Marshall just puts boot to ball. And Anderson looking into the sun takes it. Sloppy into that set there for the West Tigers. Parramatta will have the best field position they've had all day, and they're about to make their first change. Craig Stapleton is coming on. And Justin Sulos, the man who's coming from the field.
It's very, very important here that they start to get a bit of structure, Parramatta. They've been a little bit not a little bit disjointed, very disjointed early on in this game. The halves have got to get in here, take a bit of control, and just work to maintain some pressure and sustain some pressure on the Tigers.
Vella, 20 metres out. Last tackle here. What will Thorman do? He runs back towards the centre of the ruck, puts the kick in, and well read there by Luke Cavell. He's come from the left wing to pick that ball up in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he did, and in doing so, it means that out wide the Tigers were exposed. This is where Michael Witt and Chris Thorman, the halves, have got to show some vision. He's renowned for coming in around the back, Luke Cavell, and also Jason Moody does it to a certain extent. They're going to have to run the ball on the last tackle on occasions.
Ball, let him go now, Michael.
Prince, Funny O'Neill.
5, Marcus Square.
Last tackle here with Prince. He's a better kick, although it's straight to the winger, but bounces away from Anderson. It's near touch. What will he do? He plays at it, and Cavell's up very quickly there with Daniel Fitzhenry to make the tackle. They're struggling to get back here, the Parramatta forwards.
Joe, move it now.
Now McKinnon plays it. Nathan Hindmarsh is there, but they get a relieving penalty.
No movement, okay? We want movement.
That sounds strange, 5 short of halfway, but they just need a bit of a breather and to get down the other end.
Well, they do. I mean, there's not much. You look at the body language out there. They don't look very confident. The Parramatta side, we can see there. Tigers a little bit slow to get up off the play of the ball. They just need a little bit of positive talk. They need someone like this man, Nathan Hindmarsh, to just put something special on, and I'm sure they'll be able to lift and respond.
Stapleton. Defended there by O'Neill. Across the top of Scandalis. Webster having to wait for that at acting half. Thorman accelerating. Todd Payton is on for the West Tigers, making that tackle there with Scandalis. Now here's Michael Witt across field. A tackle made there by Ben Gallier. Looking for a quick play of the ball. He gets it. Jake Webster now. Here's Daniel Wagon. Cuts out McKinnon. Finds Hopkins. Hopkins almost looked inside. He had Ash Graham on his outside. Decided not to use him. Kept the ball alive, but they went backwards there to Stapleton. And here's the last tackle. Webster goes the blind side. Hopkins with the kick. Hodgson has it covered and just runs it over the dead ball line. But Parramatta will get a repeat set.
Yeah, much better play there by Parramatta. Forcing the ball in goal, making the Tigers play at it. Hodgson did well. He was well positioned. It was never going to be a try, but they forced the line drop out. Another opportunity.
Sattler will have the goal line drop out. Right under the black dot. He sends it deep and high. And Webster's under it and finding Vella. He runs it. Payton bounces away from him, but not Galea, and Payton comes again.
With your foot, Michael.
Let's see what Parramatta have on offer on this occasion. Hindmarsh, quick hands to Witters. Fitzhenry there to make the tackle. He was over the top. Benji Marshall down below. Hindmarsh again. Very heavily involved. Another hit up for him. Now Thorman. Witt has dropped it. Had a very unhappy start to the game, the youngster.
Well, they decided to go wide, but it wasn't a quick play of the ball, so the Tigers' defence had time to get set. They were sprinting up off the line, and it was, I suppose you could call it a bit of a hospital pass, because there was just nothing doing on that occasion. They had no players in motion, no second man.
Don't push yet, boys. Wait, let's in. Out.
Elford. Graham up there very quickly to make the tackle on his opponent. Now this is Moody out of acting half. One of 4 former Eels playing for the Tigers this afternoon. Scandalis. That was stolen. Was it one-on-one? It was, says the referee. And if it was one-on-one, Dean Witters did particularly well to stay away from the tackle until the ball was stolen by Daniel Wagon. Hindmarsh away from Scandalis. Crossfield, he's only got Anderson on his outside. And 3 Tigers there to make the tackle. 20 minutes out from half-time. It's 12-0, the Tigers over Parramatta. Parramatta finally getting some possession and field position to mount some pressure. Here's Thorman, now Witt, now McKinnon. He straightens the attack. Graham running through again, doesn't get the football. Last here for Parramatta. Thorman comes into first receiver. Witt's at acting half, had to wait for the football again. Kicked back to the centre of the ruck by Chris Thorman. But did he tell anyone? There's no one chased.
There was no one going through. In the end, there was Tigers. There's 3 or 4 Tigers players there to shut it down. And as a result, it was just a bit of a nothing play. But communication seems to be lacking in the Parramatta side right across the paddock. Defensively, they've been caught out wide. Players not numbering up, not dragging players across. And there's this general sense of a lack of confidence, real confidence in the Parramatta side.
Now Prince kicking on an early tackle count. Wade McKinnon has it covered inside his own 20. Reasonable chase here from the Tigers. Scotty Sattler's up there, forced the mistake. Prince picks it up, penalty.
1, 2, 3. I'm willing you break it out. You come in there and run that action. No, not in my opinion, mate.
Oh, that was a very, very good call for Parramatta, because he just lost that goal.
Well, there's no doubt in the world that Scotty Sattler didn't play at that football. Scotty Sattler went in to try and make a tackle, and jolted the ball free in the tackle, so that was very fortunate. And I suppose you could say it's even the score up.
In that terms, but not on the scoreboard, Brian Smith will argue. Unless, of course, Parramatta score a try here. Number 15, Mal Kafusi is on. Making his first grade debut for Parramatta. Wagon. Penalty.
Ben Galea. 10 metres, Ben. Good.
Will they take the tap? And they look as though they're going to do that. Right in front, 20 metres out. Now it comes from Wagon.
Let him go now.
Put the kiss of death on the Tigers here, but at the moment their defence is holding reasonably well. Hindmarsh. Webster at acting half. Now Thorman. Dummy. No pressure there for the defence. Make the tackle. LaFranchi is there with O'Neill. He's towards the goal line. Webster. Stapleton. He's flat-footed looking for the runner of Hindmarsh, but was tackled too quick. Now Witt. Kafusi in almost into a gap. Good tackle had to be made by Scotty Sattler. Last tackle, Witt, crossfield kick. Anderson is under it. Cavell comes through. Anderson takes it, and that's the changeover. I was surprised they didn't take the 2 just to give them some points. When you consider the Tigers' defence at the moment is holding quite well.
Well, they probably figured that the Tigers have been under a fair bit of pressure, which they have back-to-back sets down on their line. And I couldn't criticise them not taking a shot at goal, but the options that they're putting into play, the fact that they aren't really extending the Tigers, is where they're punishing themselves. And on that occasion, with a dud kick to finish the set.
Centre almost stumbling. Ooh, Frankie threw a dummy there to Payton, who was taken by Kafusi without the ball. They're still grappling. Once again, the Parramatta right side defence being found short. Cavell tried to duck under Anderson, who made the tackle just short of the halfway line. Tackle number 4. Ordinary ball from acting half from Hodgson. Ordinary ball from Payton to Benji Marshall. Can't get away from Hopkins and can't throw it back to LaFranchi. And it's tackle number 5. Very sloppy here from the Tigers in this set. Here's the kick from Scott Prince, straight to Wade McKinnon. And so the Tigers are off the boil at the moment. Their last couple of sets have not been overly impressive getting to the kick.
Now, they're lacking a little bit of structure down on their line, but down in their half, I should say. But what they're trying to do, and it's quite obvious what they're trying to do, they're trying to target Parramatta's right side defence. They realise that Dean Withers hasn't played in the centres before in first grade, and the guy alongside of him, the winger, Brett Anderson's making his debut in first grade. So there's a lot of inexperience on that side, and already in this game, they've made a couple of clean breaks through that area.
Wagon, now Hindmarsh, Witters. Marshall with the tackle, missed him, play on, says the referee, and then Witters threw the ball. Hindmarsh half put a hand out, which may have put Anderson off, and he's come up with a mistake.
Yeah, well, Witters is a handful in attack. There's no doubting that. And on this occasion, he tried to promote the football, and well, I don't think there was any much doing on that area anyway, because there were Tigers defenders there in numbers.
Hang on, wait 2 seconds in there. Nice, just stay there. Props, keep your feet on the ground.
Prince from the base of the scrum. Galea, who's tackled 10 metres short of halfway. Now O'Neill, Sattler. Stapleton with the tackle. Good tackle on Frankie. Was that now Kafusi? Did he lose that? No, the referee said he held on to it. Centre. Standing it up a little bit here, Parramatta in the 10-metre area. The crowd is getting on the back of the referee. Looking for a penalty. There they go again. Well, Lee Hopkins was a metre in front of him. The ball back on the inside was an ordinary pass from Scott Prince. There was nobody really trailing apart from the fullback Hodgson. Half-decent ball. There was a chance there. Around near the ankles of Ben Galea. Hodgson was there for the pass from Galea, but it was an ordinary one from Prince. Graham throwing the dummy. Fallen for by Sattler or O'Neill. Hopkins. 10 short of halfway. Wagon. No one to pass to. Stapleton got in the way between the pass of Wagon to Kafusi, so he took the tackle. Hindmarsh. The crowd thought it was forward. Scott Prince thought it was forward. The referee in touchdown didn't. Now Webster out of acting half looking for some metres. Tackle there by Mark O'Neill. Tackle number 5. Thorman will kick from acting half straight to Cavell. He took it right in front of his face. Now Hodgson can't get away from Michael Witt. It's the 20-metre line he's playing it on. Moody. Robbie Mears on. And centre having a spell. O'Neill. Prince. Quick hands from Payton to Fitzhenry. Now Cavell. Witters across in cover. There's no support at the moment. Arriving just a fraction late was Ben Galea. Once again, that right-hand side defence for Parramatta being tested. Prince. Now Benji Marshall. O'Neill running through as the decoy runner. So he takes the tackle on 4. Sattler just settling, flying to ground. On the last tackle, about 35 metres out, right in centre field, Kafusi the tackler. Now Prince puts it high into the sun once again. Anderson pointing to the fullback McKinnon, who does very well to get across there, take the ball and beat a tackle.
Yeah, great work there by McKinnon to shut that ball down and defuse the situation, because it is a target for the Tigers. They target that far right-hand corner into the sun. It's very difficult to try and defuse the ball.
Show you how Parramatta are going. Jason Taylor's just gone on to get James Webster off the field to be replaced. He came to the touchline, and the man that was supposed to replace him, being Shane Muspratt, was up the other end of the field warming up. So Webster's now gone into acting half and is still on the field. And Jason Taylor has turned around screaming for the replacement to be made. And the number 14, Shane Muspratt, was nowhere to be found. Over the head of Hodson, that'll be too deep, and it'll be a 20-minute restart. And now James Webster comes from the field, and Shane Muspratt comes on.
Yeah, well, you certainly got to get your communication right on that interchange bench, because when you want to send your players on, they've got to be warmed up, they've got to be ready. But I suppose the coordination between coaching staff members and the players.
Just saw Darren Centre there in the ice vest on the bike. Might be the easiest way to get out of Leichhardt this afternoon, on the bike rather than the car.
With this big crowd, it's going to take a while.
Penalty.
Right there, Brett. Line up, Brett. Right here, mate. Not up there.
Well, Parramatta really struggling to get the Tigers, control the Tigers' speed in the play the ball. If they get the quick play the balls, the Tigers, they've got the halves in Prince and Benji Marshall, and they're going to continue to cause enormous problems.
Galera has come from the field for the Tigers. And Glenn Hallertau is now on. This is Sattler. Another try before half-time would make it very difficult for the Parramatta Eels to come back from there. Mears across field, dumming twice, kicking. Here comes Cavell. Anderson is back there, touching goal. Just a little bit too much on it. And Parramatta will have a 20-minute restart.
It was the right idea there from Robert Mears, kicking on the early tackles. The winger hadn't dropped back. Luke Cavell was in a position to chase it. The kick was just a touch too hard.
Hold.
Widders comes at Hallertau, going through his tackle, but the defence was there to wrap him up. Robbie Mears was in there, so too Fitzhenry. Hindmarsh, Benji Marsh, and he's already had a dislocated shoulder this year against the Cowboys. He almost did it again, launching himself at Hindmarsh and falling off. Thorman, now Witt, stepping. O'Neill missed first of all, comes and wraps him up again on tackle number 5. Thorman with the kick, looking to put it in the corner. It'll be too much again, so we've had 3 consecutive 20-minute restarts. At the moment, either side taking control of the game.
Yeah, well, that's really punishing the Parramatta side severely, is their poor kicking game. They're finished to their sets. They forced one line dropout, but other than that, the final kick has been letting them down badly, and it's not as though they haven't had room to put those kicks in either.
Todd Payton thought he might have got the arms free. Prince was there. Graham grabbed him before he had the football. Now Robbie Mears turns the ball back to O'Neill. Now Payton, Sattler throwing the dummy in the big left foot step. He offloads back to LaFranchi. Referee wouldn't give a penalty there, saying that LaFranchi held his leg. Robbie Mears picked up 10 metres though on tackle number 4. Now here's Fitzhenry stumbling in the grass, going again, getting away from a couple of tackles. Out the back to Mears. Now it comes to Scott Prince. He then finds O'Neill. Just an interchange made by the Tigers, and Chris Hyington almost got the football as soon as he came on, just joined the back line. Last tackle, Prince away from Thorman. Little chip, charge down. The second one. Was there a second one?
Tried to catch it and straight to knock on.
Was there a second one? The first one was a charge.
There was definitely a second one. He's charged it, and then he's gone for another grip, another plate at it again, and then tapped it again. So I think the referee got it spot on that occasion. Take my word for it. They have got one black line, one goal line.
Couldn't quite tell from that. I'll take your word for it. Not sure whether he got a hand to it, but anyway, the Tigers are happy. Benji Marshall get away from the tackle there. Luke Burt, he has barely seen the football this afternoon. In fact, that was maybe his first tackle or first foray into the game. He's made a few. Has he been hurt in that tackle he's just made then? Not another collarbone injury. He's in strife. They're short out this way. They come to O'Neill. And Luke Burt is struggling to get back in position on this left wing. He suffered a couple of broken collarbones last year. And now Lafranchi takes it forward. He is really struggling there, Luke Burt. Mears. There's no way through there. Hindmarsh had it covered, so too Muspratt. Last tackle. Prince along the ground. McKinnon is back there, has it covered. And brings it out to the 10. Another peppering of that far wing might have been the go. It doesn't look like it's the collarbone for Burt. Tending to a facial area. Keep peppering that corner into the sun, Wayne.
Yeah, well, they did on that occasion, and it's amazing that players sometimes don't look when opposition players are getting treated. On that occasion, Luke Burt was getting treated, obviously, in some distress on the right-hand side, and the option should have been, I would think, to attack the right-hand side when they're a man down.
There is impact play. He's on the wing now. Looks to have been recovered. Last tackle here for Parramatta. Hopkins plays it. Foreman had to reach for the pass from Muspratt before getting his kick away. An awkward bounce for Cavell initially, but bounced up nicely in the end, and Witter's there to make the tackle.
And a big rep for the young bloke too. He's improved enormously as the season's progressed this year, and positionally, he's a very, very sound player. Anticipates the opposition kicks really well, and manages to get back and make some good yardage.
Byington takes it at Soulos, who makes the tackle. Approaching the 5-minute mark. Remaining of this first half, and it's 12 points to 0. And those 12 points coming early in the game, so since then it's been very much an arm wrestle. Now Prince with the run around with Fitzhenry, accelerates. Cavell away from Thorman, almost ducking under the tackle there of Brett Anderson. Last tackle. A high kick from Fitzhenry. McKinnon is under it, no real pressure on him. He takes it on his 10-metre line.
That's one. Move it now, move it, bring him back.
Apart from that early flurry where the Tigers had an enormous amount of possession and come up with those couple early tries, it's been pretty much an arm wrestle this game. Parramatta have had a spate of tackles inside the Tigers' 20-metre zone, but have been unable to penetrate the line. But for the last 25 minutes of this game, it's been very much an arm wrestle, very even. So it'll be interesting to see if Parramatta can regroup at half-time, come out in the second half and really put some pressure on the Tigers.
Soulos with the offload, back to Muspratt. Hands from Hopkins, did very well to gather that in under pressure from Scott Prince. And he's tackled on the last. Geez, I thought that could have been a penalty there for Parramatta, although Hopkins may have tried to milk it, and he gets up limping, and Hodgson takes it. We've seen those penalised before.
Right, yeah, well, the touch judge was right near him, so obviously the touchy and the ref, neither of them thought it was worthy of the penalty.
Touch judge Steve Lyons, who controlled last night's game between Cronulla and Souths.
Get him on side!
Once the Parramatta players on side, might have even been Brian Hyder. He's on his way out. Someone very close to the action anyway. And
You cut him off! You cut him off!
whoever it was got their way.
A couple of tackles later, must be a fair way out of the referee. It took a while to get the message out there.
Slowing it down here a bit, the Tigers. Scott Prince will look for touch. Let's see what the Tigers can do with this set. The way they started the game, their defence was all over the place, but they have regrouped a bit, but the Tigers have gone off the ball slightly.
That's one!
Lafranchi. It's the 10-metre line he'll play it on. Ball inside to Heinton.
Move now!
They're 5 metres away from further points. Mears at acting half. Prince changing direction. Back to Sattler. Nathan Hindmarsh read it magnificently and just absolutely hammered Scotty Sattler. Scott Prince stepping. Muspratt with the tackle. Offloaded it straight into the hands of Daniel Wagon.
Hold!
Wasted opportunity there for the Tigers.
it was a wasted opportunity. They're trying to go through the centre. They've changed their strategy now, trying to go through the centre. They're putting a lot of balls back on the inside, and Parramatta are reading it really well.
Hopkins just literally fell at the feet there at the West Tigers. Dominant tackle, shouted the referee. Thorman out to Witters. Got Benji Marshall in front of him. He grabs him by the arm and flings him to ground, but doesn't tackle him. And now he does. Play it, says the referee. Comes to Thorman. He kicks. Moody is back there, and watch it bounce, and bounce nicely for him. Vella's up on his own here chasing. He looks around and had nobody with him. And Moody's gone straight through. That's what happens when you don't go up as a team. Now the Tigers are up towards the halfway line. Michael Vella chased up frantically, looked around, and there was no one there.
Yeah, the kick chasing game was very, very poor on that occasion. They just look tired, Parramatta. They've been unable to go this last few minutes with the Tigers as far as pace is concerned. And the Tigers, before half-time, they look like they can get another one. They look a lot sharper.
LaFranchi, Wagon with the tackle. He's worked overtime along with Nathan Hindmarsh. Sattler, ball inside the Hines, and Wagon missed the tackle. McKinnon made it. Fourth tackle, 10 metres out. Sattler down the line side. Fitzhenry. It comes back there to Benji Marshall. He finds Mears. This is Hodson. Dumming inside to O'Neill. Now giving it to Elford. Elford away from Graham. He can't get away from Hopkins. Here's a chance for Moody. He goes towards the line, but the defence is there. Graham comes again with the assistance of Burt to make the tackle on the last. Sloppy play the ball. It comes back to Prince. Crossfield kick. Anderson under pressure. He's lost it. Down there is Benji Marshall. Was there a knock on though? Shane Hayne is going to check with Paul Simpkins.
Just check the contest in the air, mate, the grounding.
Well, he's
Here it
tapped
is.
it back, leaves the hands going backwards. From my point of view, that's a try.
I'll just wait for the decision, and
My
here it
money's-
comes from Paul Simpkins.
my
There's that
money's
many
on a
people
try.
here. We can't get a shot of the screen, and there it is from. That shows you how many people are here at Leichhardt Oval. Benji Marshall, in his first game at Leichhardt, gets a try. His second for the season. Just before half-time, there's less than 30 seconds to go, and the Tigers have made it 16-0.
Well, as I said before, perfectly placed, perfectly weighted kick into the sun. Always going to be difficult for Brett Anderson, the debutant, to try and take the football. Great play by Cavell to tap the ball back. And Parramatta were looking very, very tired in the last couple of sets leading up to half-time. It was a matter of the Tigers just sustaining a bit of pressure, which they did.
As they look right behind this kick, and there's the further 2 points. In half-time here at Leichhardt Oval, it's the West Tigers 18 leading Parramatta 0.
It's a hot topic of debate
Do they have the right to do that?
when seasoned experts go head-to-head
That wasn't the only off-field drama.
and cover all angles of arguments.
Oh no, I've always had problems with politics and sport.
Because there's a lot more to sport than what happens on the field.
My marriage has ruined my golf career too.
When you want to read between the lines and get the facts straight,
They realise they do have to toughen up.
click to The Back Page. Tonight, 7:30, Fox Sports 1.
It's the Anderson twins. Mate, this is our big chance. It's got to be our wingman.
Hi.
We'll shout you it is. Ray? Dad, do you know Chris is a great dancer?
No, I don't really. Tui's new. What mates do.
A storm front is here. That's my team.
No matter what your mood, what your interest, whatever the time, digital has got you covered. You in the mood for a movie? You want to catch up with the news or just be entertained? Now you can. You choose. You call the shots. You can control it all with us right now on your existing TV. What kind of television revolution could give you a choice like that? It's digital. Experience the revolution.
Second half about to get underway. Luke Cavell with the ball placed in the centre of the halfway line. And the Leichhardt fans are happy at the moment. Will they be happy? In 40 minutes from now, they lead by 18 points to nil. McKinnon will find Vella. First use of the football for the second half of the Parramatta side. They'll trail by 18, and Sulos almost gave them an awful start to the second 40. Norman will play it. Towards the 40 he goes. This is Musprat, former Cowboy. There by number 16, Dean Hallertau. Vella had to reach behind him. And a bad set in the end for Parramatta. They're into Tigers territory. And now Witt with the kick on the end of the set. Moody is back there. Is there going to be too much on it, or is it going to be a beauty? It's a sensational kick, and Moody had to take it over the dead ball line.
Yeah, great start to the second half by Parramatta. They got plenty of yardage and a tremendous kicking game in the end there by Michael Witt. So Tigers now under siege, under assault. They can't afford to relax because Parramatta would have definitely been pumped up by Brian Smith at half-time, and they know, Parramatta know, they've got to put first points on this board to be any hope at all of getting back into this game.
Sattler with the restart. Tremendous drop kick, 50 metres on the fly. And McKinnon looks for Sulos. He runs at Elford, who makes a good tackle one-on-one. And rolls away. Musprat out of acting half. There was only one marker. He picks up some metres and almost had the ball stolen by Chris Hynington. Injured Tiger on the ground, Mark O'Neill. Now Hindmarsh, who's worked overtime in the first half. 24 tackles, 12 hit-ups. Angie Marshall with the tackle. Now McKinnon. Tackle number 3. O'Neill has recovered, making the tackle over the top. Witt looking for somebody in the inside, and there was no one there. Michael Vella was a mile away. Now Musprat with the kick. It's one of the world's worst, if not the worst. It's in the final.
Yeah, well, Parramatta really...
Well, Shane, walk away. Walk away, mate. Walk away. No, hang on.
Full credit to Musprat for getting back and stealing the ball, and then Elford tried to get it back. So Parramatta have recovered from something they shouldn't have. And they almost threw it away with Vella. Now Thorman. He goes. Elford misses the tackle. He's lost it. He's lost the football. Moody picks it up. The referee's ruled Mockman in goal. Greater advantage at 20-metre restart. He was over the line. Scotty Sattler has saved another try.
You don't see it too often. Scotty's come from nowhere. He didn't dive on this occasion. He just put the hand out there. Foreman, a little bit lackadaisical when he got over the line. And it's cost them a try. It cost them big time.
I wonder how that will affect Parramatta's psyche. They would have been pumped up to start this second half, and they've had 2 opportunities to score. A golden opportunity. All they had to do was fall over. Foreman. And he couldn't manage it. Prince is going to kick early. Luke Bird is back there and takes it on the full. He's able to return it quite well. Now he's running across field, looking for space. Straightens. And they have him covered through Hallertau. Anderson. Wagon. Good defence there from Anthony LaFranchi. Also in there was Chris Hynington. Foreman. Quick hands from Witt. Now they got a chance here. Hopkins. Moody's shuffling back in defence inside to Graham. Graham has some support in McKinnon, and he has bombed another one. Can you believe that? A He's hurt himself too, I think, Graham. He hasn't moved. But they butchered that one, Parramatta. If he passes first time to McKinnon, he's over under the post.
Yeah, well, they certainly did butcher it. I thought Brett Hodgson made an error of judgment, like went for an intercept, but Parramatta ended up cutting their own throat, as we can see. The injured Parramatta player down, still in back play.
There's Brian Smith. Frustration is growing for him. Mears over the 30 by about a metre. There's still one short the other side of the field, but they come to the left, the Tigers. Anderson has this one covered and does well. Reggie Marshall catches up with him.
He's like one of those little terriers, isn't he, at your ankles? Won't let go.
Once again, Wayne, as you were talking before, Ashley Graham was down missing for that whole set there for the Tigers. And the right-hand side defence, or left-hand side defence for Parramatta. The Tigers didn't go that way once.
Yeah, I mean, it amazes me when, if you're a ball player or you're one of the players that can control the play of the attacking side, and you know that one of their outside backs is down injured, why won't you take the option and run out there, because they're going to be a man down?
Parramatta with a chance. They've got some numbers here. Graham, no good shuffling defence from the West Tigers. It's just a solid defensive effort there from Shane Elford, almost forcing the mistake. Now the kick is a high one. Hodgson is under it. Takes it very well, 10 out from his own line. Wimp was the kicker, then immediately passes wide to Cavell, and they get up towards the 20-metre line. Quick play the ball also. And Galea is taken to ground by Wagon. Also there was Witters. Brett Hodgson calling for a drink from the bench. LaFranchi being forced back in the tackle.
And you have a look at the Parramatta defensive line, which is moving up fairly quickly nowadays, and fullback Wade McKinnon way back deep behind the line. I think won't be too long before the little chip kicks put into play.
Well, you just saw there, Parramatta, all the players were a half and not a metre offside, and here's the penalty. No doubt about it whatsoever.
No, you get onside.
None of them were onside then.
No, and it was good refereeing from Shane Haney. Played the advantage, no advantage to the Tigers, so he said, well, listen, we'll give the penalty.
And Shane Musprat. And now they find themselves 21 metres out here, the Tigers, with 6 tackles up their sleeve. Prince. Now Sattler has LaFranchi. Cuts him out for Benji Marshall. Dummy inside, outside. Going himself. Now Moody for the corner. The cover comes. Steps inside Norman and scores a try. Cavell has scored. He gets himself a hat-trick. The first of his career for Luke Cavell. 3 tries, but it was a set play from one side of the field to the other. And Luke Cavell gets 3 tries, and Parramatta's season of woe continues.
And once again, the Tigers attack Parramatta's right side defence. They've been hitting there all afternoon, and they're looking for the deficiencies out there. They've realised Dean Witters is defending out wide. They realise there's a rookie out there on the wing, Brett Anderson. Benji Marshall, dangerous against a strong defensive side, let alone some out-of-position players. And he carves up. And Luke Cavell, he's just going from strength to strength. A player that has improved enormously over the last 12 months, come from nowhere. A player that we hadn't heard of 12 months ago to establish himself firmly in the Tigers' first-grade side, and the first hat-trick of his first-grade career.
Yeah, the club record for the West Tigers for the most tries in a game is 4, held by Kevin McGuinness. And so that's the next task for Cavell. And the way they're finding gaps down this right-hand side, right-hand side, I can't tell my left from my right, for the Parramatta side. 4 could be in the offing. And how long before Brian Smith plugs that hole? What options does he have with 4 forwards on the bench to do that?
Well, the only option would be probably move Daniel Wagon out a little bit wider.
Yep. Here's the kick from Hodgson from near touch to rub further salt into the Parramatta wounds. 24 points to 0, half an hour to go, and here it is again. Dummies, 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 and Cavell finishing like a good winger should, but when you consider that McKinnon and Thorman were there, they should not have let him come in so easily.
Well, once again, lack of communication in defence. They're not talking to one another. But on the positive side for the Tigers, earlier the season, one of the problems they had was putting points on the board. But the last 2 weeks, they've scored 56 points in the last 2 games, and they've continued that momentum again today with 24 points already in this game. So they're really playing with the confidence in attack. They're supporting each other well, and they're moving the football around.
That confidence growing. Next week, they take on the Melbourne Storm at Olympic Park. That'll be a great game. The Eels travel to Energy Australia Stadium to take on Newcastle. Here's Prince, straight through. Where's the support? Hodson's flying. Sattler's there. Prince has smashed. The ball goes backwards. Hodson now has it. Long cutout ball taken by LaFranchi. And now he straightens the attack. Looking to offload and finally manages to go to the ground with the football. Hindmarsh with the tackle. Now Sattler. Sattler goes back to the other side of the field. O'Neill stepping. Takes the tackle on 5. Players on this side of the field screaming for the ball. Here's Mears with the kick. McKinnon attacking through his legs, but he's able to regroup. Well, that was an opportunity gone begging there for the Tigers. Not able to set his support up, Scotty Prince, but Wade McKinnon did very well. Yeah, well, Scotty Prince got through, and the support took an eternity to get there, but in the end, it was Wade Prince who managed to defuse the situation. And you've got to feel sorry for Nathan Hindmarsh. You have a look at his stats. He's made 29 tackles, 12 hit-ups. He's streets ahead of the work rate for anyone else in the Parramatta side. And he's trying to lift his Parramatta side, but he hasn't got too many of his teammates that are able to go with him. Here's the kick from Michael Witt, straight down the throat of Luke Cavell. 24 points to 0. Did he stumble? Did he dive? What did he do there, Cavell? I was waiting to see whether the referee may have even penalised him for a voluntary tackle.
He thought the try line was there again, number 4 coming up.
Did he get one for forcing it over the 40-metre line?
Not when it's a red line.
Ball back on the inside to O'Neill. Webster with the tackle. Hindmarsh coming in a bit late. The referee says fine. He says he was onside at Marcus, so Sattler flicks it out the back to Mears. And he offloads, and Hindmarsh comes in again to assist with the tackle on Hyington. We're into Eels territory. Here's LaFranchi. Wagon grabbing him by the collar, flinging him to ground, but easy meters again. Prince out of acting half, kicking for the corner. McKinnon has it covered. The chase is fine. And the 2 halves make the tackle, Prince and also Benji Marshall. It gets worse.
You get an advantage out of getting out of him.
It just gets worse for Parramatta. They call them sleepers.
Really 3 players take an advantage to get out. Okay, can't go, mate. Call them all game for you.
Well, as he said, he's been calling them all game, so they've got no comeback. They've got no reasons to complain. Have a look at the Parramatta players just walking back, trying to impede, trying to provide an obstruction.
Here come the Tigers again. They lead by 24. This would surely seal it if it hasn't already done so. Scandalis fresh on the field. Stapleton with the tackle. Vella in there also. They need to hold here, Parramatta. Mears inside. Dean Hallertau. Only a few metres out from the goal line. Mears tries to burrow over from acting half, but Vella read it well. Todd Payton coming back on now for the Tigers. Here's Benji Marshall. Here's Payton. Witters trying to force him towards the touchline, but he takes the tackle and succumbs to it a couple of metres in from the touchline. Last tackle, Benji Marshall. Long ball to Sattler. Sattler looks for runners. Prince has put it down. And now McKinnon tries to turn defence into attack. Beats one tackle. Can't get away from Mears and almost lost it.
Zero tackle!
Vella coming from the field for Parramatta. Another change being made. And on goes making his debut, Jack Afamasaga, 18-year-old from New Zealand. What a time to make your debut, down 24-0 with 26 minutes to go. Wagon cuts him out and finds Witters. And Witters upended there by Benji Marshall. Here's Afamasaga. Webster, only one marker. They go to the blindside. Thorman, now Witters, runs at Prince. He makes the tackle. Tackle number 4 here for the Parramatta side. Thorman, who's he want to pass to? No one, so he kicks. Moody is back there. Hodson is there. They have it covered easily, and Hodson almost got through. It was Michael Witt slipped over. Now being forced back, and Hindmarsh with the tackle.
And positionally, great work there, and again by Brett Hodgson. He's been perhaps the Tigers' standout player over the course of the season. He's only a lightweight player, but he's a guy that reads play extremely well and puts his body on the line every time. And again today, he's been non-stop in his efforts at support play.
Quick hands from Payton to Benji Marshall. Now it comes on the outside of Fitzhenry. Cavell goes on the inside. Afamasaga can't go with him. It's off a hand, that's offside. I thought it came off McKinnon. Back to Daniel Wagon. Even though McKinnon didn't play at the football, Wagon was in front of him. Play on, says the referee, and now Hindmarsh into open space. Turns it inside to Witt. He's got the fullback to beat. Hodgson has him covered though. No, he doesn't. He runs over the top of him. Away there from Scandalis, but not Prince standing. Offloading back to McKinnon. He's out on his feet at the moment. Can't go anywhere. And Sattler makes a tackle. Someone's mouthguard has come out. Is it Sattler's? Or it is Scotty Sattler's. Puts it back in after making the tackle. Here's Afamasaga. Can the Eels finally go in?
Well, they look flat. I mean, they're in an attacking position, but they don't look sharp at all.
The Tigers are one short also. Fitzhenry struggling. Stapleton. Great tackle from behind by Hallertau. Fitzhenry can't get back onto the wing. Webster is only a metre out penalty.
Never onside, Mark. Hang on. He's in front of you. The mark's here.
Offside.
Out of the road.
Daniel Fitzhenry struggling on this left wing for the Tigers. Stapleton at Mears, trying to back his way over the goal line. He's almost there. He's lost it. Shane Hayne was in a dreadful position to try and rule that. Whether there was a hand in there, he had no idea. He was in the in-goal area, and it was tough for either touch judge. You have a look. Was there a hand in there or not?
Well, Stapleton's complaining. There's certainly hands in there, but I don't think they were stripping the football. They were trying to make the tackle, trying to affect the tackle. Stapleton's complaining, but it's a responsibility of the players when they're attacking, carrying the football, to make sure they've got good ball security.
Elford. Almost through. Picking up some easy metres. Now here's Prince. Benji Marshall to Hodgson. Back towards the centre of the ruck, and now Hindmarsh is there. Is there anyone apart from him and Daniel Wagon, who's made 28 tackles? Making these tackles. Here we go. Hallertau. Todd Payton is with him. Sattler's with him. Todd Payton had to actually wait for the football. He was that quick. Now up to the 30, and Medji's knocked it on. Oh, man. Todd Payton had to wait for the pass. Reach back, he overran it. And it showed too much pace.
Well, there's one area of improvement in the Tigers. It's definitely that as Benji Marshall tries to force the play at a dummy half and comes up with a knock-on. There's one area of improvement that the Tigers need and can work on, and something for Tim Sheens to work on. It's certainly their support play from broken play. Two or three times in this game, there's been clean breaks made.
Seconds in, Rock.
And for lack of support play, it's fallen down. And in fact,
1 against the feed.
Yes, Tigers go.
First time since 1948 that a side has won 1 against the feed at Leichhardt Oval. It happens to be against Parramatta. Oh, Brian Smith will go home now. At least he'll get out early. There'll be no traffic problems for him. What else can possibly happen to this Parramatta side at the moment? 20 metres out, the Tigers. How do you lose one against the feed in this day and age? Scandalis dragging them with him. Mears at acting half. Now Prince looking for somebody to run. Here goes Todd Payton. He's most probably exhausted after his sprint. Throws it out the back to Hodgson. And Hodgson is finally tackled. He's been busy this afternoon also. Last tackle here for the West Tigers. Prince, dummy to kick, now runs. Benji with his step, accelerating. Offhand, 6 to go. Fitzhenry will get 6 more tackles. And the tackle count restarts on 1. That's what else can happen to Parramatta, and more points, and maybe for the first time the West Tigers will hold an opposition's team pointless. 24 points to 0. The Tigers chant goes up again. Now it comes from Sattler. He then finds Galea back out on the field. Bumps away from Webster, who comes again. 10 metres out from the goal line. Reaching for it there was Elford. Ball back there to Todd Payton. He's desperate for a try this afternoon. Mears at acting half. He looks for the try for Masaga. Can't hold him up, can he? He's held up. They'll come back out on tackle 5.
One to go. Still tackle 5. One to go.
Big, deep back line to the left-hand side, looking once again to stretch this right side Parramatta defence.
Prince for a field goal from right in front. Adds the extra point. 25 points to 0. And that is it for Parramatta shortly with 20 minutes remaining. The West Tigers 25, Parramatta 0. Well, the season gets worse.
It certainly does. I thought it was beyond reproach before that kick. Well, that certainly puts it beyond 4 converted tries, so it's certainly out of the grasp of Parramatta now to win this game. In fact, they just haven't looked like competing in this second half. They bombed a try early on, but apart from that, they just haven't been able to compete.
Here comes Todd Payton bringing the ball back, and this crowd here this afternoon are thoroughly enjoying the afternoon of football in the sunshine. 18,883, which is a new ground record for the West Tigers at either Leichhardt or Campbelltown. Last time at Leichhardt they got over 16,000 was against Souths in 2002, 16,266. And against the Bulldogs at Campbelltown, 18,119. So nearly 19,000 here at Leichhardt this afternoon. And I reckon about 17,000 of them will go home extremely happy. Here come the Eels. Can they put some points on? No, penalty. It does get worse. Shane Hayne has got them inside the 10.
He's got to line him up with this guy out here and stand upside.
Chris Thorman's thrown the ball away, and another one comes in from the far side of the field.
Absolutely nothing going for Parramatta this afternoon, but they can't blame the referee. They were definitely offside. He was playing the advantage. And they've just been disjointed. They just don't look to be harmonious. They've been exposed time and time again on their right-hand side defence. Mainly out through where Dean Widders is defending out there in the centres. And I think there's more tries than the Tigers yet.
Scandalis takes it forward. The West Tigers have never held a team to 0 in their history. Can this afternoon be the first time? Galea head down. He's towards the goal line. They hold him up and force him back. On tackle number 2. They are deep and wide to the left. It comes that way to Prince. He's running across field. Benji Marshall, they're running out of room. He goes himself. The centre went inside. Another penalty. Time off. What's going to happen here?
For some reason, your guys at the start, I tried to look at those touch judges, they're calling the same blokes offside all the time, mate. Go back and tell them, because if it continues, mate, you're going to be playing one short. I don't want that, you don't want that, okay? Go back and tell them.
Well, Mark, they were the proverbial mile offside on that occasion, Parramatta. On their right-hand side, they're jumping the gun. They're realising that the Tigers are causing problems. They're trying to get up on them before they move the ball.
Scandalis, 5 metres out. The crowd, 18,800 of them, can smell another try here for the Tigers. Payton doesn't he want one? Throwing himself at the goal line. Mears throwing a dummy to centre, who ran through as the decoy. Now Scotty Prince. Can he get himself a try? Back to Ben Galea. Webster with the tackle. Did he lose the football? No, the referee said he controlled it. Here's Sattler with the dummy. Scotty Sattler looking for his first try in Tigers colours. Mears, Prince, centre inside, goes outside Fitzhenry with a flick back. Prince has lost it backwards. Widders makes the tackle on the last. That's the 20-metre line they're back to. Now Hodgson, he puts the ball high in the air. Ashley Graham under it from the field of play. He's lost it forward. Penalty in front of the man that last touched it.
He got the ball here. No, but he was.
There wasn't a huge amount of pressure.
No, Nathan, go on that.
Well, there's no pressure, really. on the winger on that occasion, Anderson.
Wait, Robert.
The kick was a bit too long, if anything, and Cavell wasn't challenging for the football. He got there just after the ball came down, but unfortunately, the Parramatta penalty yet again.
Can the Tigers get over? They've had some possession of late. It comes to Hodgson. Now Elford. Good tackle on the far side of the field made by Burt. Sattler turns it inside. Galea back towards the blind side. Elford to the corner. Gives the ball back to Moody. Moody trying his back his way over the goal line. Now he goes forward and he's only a metre out. Mears at acting half. Had to wait for the ball. They all went. He stayed and scores the try. It was almost slow motion stuff. Robbie Mears had to wait for them to play the ball. It was as slow as you could see. Parramatta's defence moved up too quickly. He thought, I'll score the try.
Yeah, well, Mearsy hit the pause button on that occasion. The defenders, have a look at Craig Staple. He's 7-8 metres upfield on that occasion, and the hole opened up around the ruck. They were all looking for the ball to go wide. Mearsy, well, he stuck through, pinches a try. Try time.
Just have a look here, Wayne, at the players who are around the ruck, though, in defence for Parramatta, as Tim Sheens looks on. Not half as excited as
Is that a happy smile, Sheensy?
No, it's not.
He's got high standards. He thinks there's still some improvement in them yet.
We'll have a look at the try again after the kick. I just want you to have a look and see who the players are defending for Parramatta around the ruck. 9, 7 and 1 for the players around the ruck. Three of the smallest players on the team.
Yeah, something you want to play the ball, that's for sure.
Here's Hodgson. 20 metres out, 10 in from the far touchline. 29-0. The West Tigers over Parramatta. I thought the Tigers would win, but I didn't expect this scoreline. Hodgson has missed that one, and so they can't hit the 30. Robbie Mears, his first try of the season. And this try again, Mears has scored. And have a look at who he beats here. There's the number 7, Thorman, the fullback, and Webster. The three of them in the line there, the three smallest players in the field, defending near the ruck at the goal line.
Yeah, very perceptive there, Mark. I mean, you need your big men in around to play the ball, because the shortest line, or shortest way to the try line is a straight line through the ruck. You've got to have your big men there to make sure that you force them to go wide.
So the Tigers, can they hit 30? Over the 20. Here's a break. Hodgson over the halfway line. McKinnon to beat. He puts the foot down. They chase and they grab him. McKinnon's there to force the tackle and force the ball free. And Luke Bird has come up with it. Another line break from the West Tigers. 10-3 so far this afternoon.
And as far as missed tackles go, have a look at this. 35 missed tackles from Parramatta this afternoon. 35. By comparison, the Tigers have only missed 12. So really got to do some work on their defence, Parramatta. And it starts largely with communication. They're just not communicating and not working as a unit.
Let him go!
Here's Thorman. Now Witt. Throwing the dummy, accelerating straight through, he'll score. And so Parramatta get their first points on the board. But unfortunately for them, half their fans won't have seen it. They've gone 29 points to 4. The Parramatta fans are screaming out of the ground as the Eels have scored their first try of the afternoon. Look at them go. They are leaving in numbers.
And you can't blame them, let me tell you. It's been a very, very poor performance by the Parramatta side this afternoon. Having said that, the Tigers really have stepped up. They dropped their intensity, dropped their concentration on this occasion. Just a big dummy there. And it was Fitzy, that Daniel Fitzhenry, that is, who fell for the dummy. Witt just strolled over for the try, but purely and simply just a drop in intensity. A little bit of a lack of talk on the inside. Benji Marshall didn't probably trail across quick enough. Parra come up with a try.
Michael Witt trying to convert his own try. And there it is, straight between the posts. He hasn't had an enjoyable afternoon, a few mistakes, but that will make him feel a little bit better his first game of the season for Michael Witt. 29 points to 6. I know there's plenty of Parramatta fans that A huge rap on Michael Witt. He's a favourite player of a number of the Eels fans. And my young bloke who's a Parramatta fan loves Michael Witt. He was delighted to see him back in first grade.
Well, you talk about first grade. You ask the question why John Morris is not out there. I mean, John Morris is a player who's been one of Parramatta's most consistent players, well, certainly earlier on in the season, and played reserve grade earlier today, and he's a player that I think they've missed badly. He can make a break, scrambles well in defence, and has got a good kicking game, which is something that they've lacked. Certainly in that first half, they lacked a good kicking game.
Yeah, we saw a shot earlier as Hindmarsh just throws it out the back, or did he flick it, lose it, or whatever? Now they've lost it, picked up by Fitzhenry. And the tackle made there by Hopkins had to be made, otherwise he was away. Centre now. Back towards the middle of the ruck, looking for somebody. Lines up Sattler. He turns it inside to Payton. He throws the dummy and goes himself. Still 11 minutes to go. The Tigers looking to put 30 on the board. Centre tackle. A couple of metres out from the goal line. Sattler at acting half. It comes back to Prince. Gallier cuts him out. Now Marshall. Fitzhenry back to Marshall. Stepping around Wagon. Stepping around Vella. Webster with the tackle. Couple of metres out. Quick play the ball. Gallier. Now Scandalis charging. Great defence. Vella and Hindmarsh on the goal line. Two of the big blokes making the tackle. Sattler at acting half. Looking for a runner. Back to Gallier. Payton had gone through. Here's Hodgson popping the ball back to O'Neill. He gets the arms free. It goes back to Darren Centre. He burrows towards the goal line. There's only half a metre away. Last tackle here for the West Tigers. Hodgson kicking across field. Moody is there. Taps it back. Did he get the ball down? Shane Elford, the crowd in that far corner say yes.
I was going to check the ground and he never put the ball in his foot.
Shane Elford in that corner say it's a try, but they don't count.
Well, the Tigers, they're all high-fiving one another. They believe it's a try. But it's up to the video ref what he thinks. Perfectly placed kick by Brett Hodgson on that occasion. Moody goes up, it's batted back, not a problem. Can't really tell from that angle. Can't really tell from that. This one will tell us whether or not it's a try. Downward pressure, not a problem. That'll be a green light. Another try to the Tigers.
It was the boot of Luke Burt that kicked it away, and they'll hit 30, the West Tigers. Paul Simpkins, our video referee this afternoon. Well done by Jason Moody. We're going to have another look at it, Simpkins. Well, he clearly got it down and then kicked away.
Yeah. Mind you, it's video refs again, is it? But no, this will be a try. It won't be a problem at all. I think they were just looking to see whether or not he placed on the boot of Luke Burt, but no way. He got it down on the ground and then it was kicked away.
Absolutely. Kicked away. 18,882 here this afternoon.
But what about the precision of the kick by Brett Hodgson? Didn't have much time to react, put it on the end of the boot, and it was perfectly placed.
Played strongly this afternoon, Shane Elford. Mind you, all the Tigers have.
I think he's played well all season, Shane Elford. Out wide, he's caused problems in every game.
Here's the decision. Still a bumper crowd on the hill, all looking at the screen, and there's the try. Shane Elford gets his first of the afternoon, and the Tigers hit 33 points to 6. It came from another mistake from the Parramatta side.
And it's not over yet, still 10 minutes to go. And as I said, Brett Hodgson perfectly placed kick. Great work by Jason Moody to bat it back. There's nothing the defence can do about that when it gets batted back. The attacking side, the attacking side goes up above the defending side, and there he is, Shane Elford. Former Penrith player, wasn't good enough to play in the grand final last year. Couldn't make the squad. Tigers picked him up, and he's been one of their best performed backs, best performed players, I would say, this season.
Third week in a row, Parramatta has conceded 30-plus points. When you consider how good their defence was in years gone past, it's an amazing statistic. As Hodgson from the far side of the field. What sort of a week will it be at Parramatta this week? Hodgson unsuccessful with that attempt, so the score remains 33 points to 6. And on average this season, Parramatta conceding 29.3 points, sorry, 28.7 points per game, I should say, and they're second last in the NRL in terms of points conceded, and so this will boost that average.
Play onside.
with the restart. What does Brian Smith do during the week, Wayne? I mean, he's made wholesale changes this week. Does he make them again?
Well, I don't think you can continually make wholesale changes because that brings another set of problems, and that is continuity and flow within the team. So you've got to really work, I believe, on your deficiencies. And one of the biggest deficiencies in the Parramatta side today has been cohesion. They really haven't been structured. I think their halves haven't provided any degree of organisation. And I think out wide, their right-hand side defence has been extremely vulnerable. And in trying to plug that, bringing extra defenders out to the right, they've exposed themselves. Then on the left-hand side, the Tigers have gone back there.
Scott Prince hit late by Afamasaga, and Scotty Sattler taking exception to it. Touch judges on. David Abood.
Got it? Yep, what was it? Just a weight shoulder. Okay. 17. 17, mate. Deep number 17.
Well, that was way late. It wasn't high, it was late.
This place came through, shouldered the player, hit the player up with the shoulder. Thanks, Dave. Good luck. Yep, heard the report. Yeah, plenty of time to pull out. There's no need to knock him over. Next time, just run past him or just don't touch him. Okay? Thanks, mate. Where's the mark here?
So another penalty against the Eels. They are the worst in the NRL in conceding penalties, Parramatta. They've conceded 10 this afternoon. And so they average 9.2 penalties against per game. So they're up to that average and above again, 10 this week.
That's one now, stand up. Hold.
Marshall turning it inside to Scandalis. Still 7 minutes of play remaining. Centre, running backwards, still going Darren Centre. Vella finally making the tackle. Sattler, long ball to Prince. O'Neill coming back on the angle. Afamasaga there to make the tackle. 10 metres out from the goal line. Here's Sattler. Cuts out Scandalis, finds Hodgson. They've got numbers if he keeps going. And through the dummy, then took the tackle of Dean Witters. They come the short side. Galea, quick hands, Fitzhenry. The touchline, Cavell. If the ball had stuck, may have been over in the corner for that fourth try.
Yeah, look, Cavell just a little bit far advanced. The ball went behind him, but yeah, it was on. It was catch and pass, catch and pass. That one there, Cavell, if he was a metre later, it was try time again.
This is Graham. Good tackle. Todd Payton, he has made an impact when he's come off the bench. The Tigers this afternoon.
The Tigers forwards really have controlled the centre of the rucks. No end. LaFranchi's amazing work rate. He's come up with 23 hit-ups in this game. Johnny Scandalis, 20 hit-ups. Scotty Sattler, 17. I mean, the fact is the Tigers have had an enormous amount of possession as well. They've had 65% of possession in this game. 65%. Largely off the back of the errors and penalties that the Parramatta side have conceded.
Here's Burt keeping on the foot. Hodgson has lost it. Now the referee said he held on to it. They've made 100 extra tackles. Parramatta, they're on 96 extra tackles. Look at the stats here. Nathan Hindmarsh has made 47 tackles and 16 hit-ups. The next best forwards in terms of hit-ups for Parramatta is Stapleton with 10. They've made their final two changes here, the Tigers. Scotty Prince coming from the field. And also John Scandalis. So no more changes here for the Tigers. And here's the chase. McKinnon trapped in his corner. Hyington with the tackle. And also Halatau.
5 minutes of play.
Ash Graham tried to pick the ball up. Just couldn't.
Yeah, nothing going for Parramatta this afternoon, but the kick was a great one leading up to that play by Benji Marshall. And he's moved into half-back as Scott Prince gone from the field.
Parramatta defence at the scrum, they have no idea the back's where they're supposed to be. They're all talking who's playing where. Now 5 metres out from the line. Here they come again, the Tigers. O'Neill, Hindmarsh with another one. He's approaching 50. Fitzhenry. Marshall has Hallertau with him. Cavell for 4 for the corner. Into touch.
Well, they're doing their absolute best to try and get Luke Cavell over for his 4th try. And Benji Marshall didn't give him much room to work in on this occasion. Probably wasn't the best option, but they're certainly trying to get him over. Scotty Prince, well, he says, why can't I get out there? I want to get back out there, coach. I was having fun.
McKinnon. O'Neill with the tackle. Here's a break from Burt down the touchline. Hodgson, they force him into touch. And I'm sure the faces on the bench will be getting longer for Parramatta as John Morrison he was dropped. Matt Peterson is out injured. John Morris, quality player. There's Eric Grant Jr. There's a cast of thousands there. They do have some injury problems, as well as
That's not the only problems they've got after looking at today's performance.
Playing problems.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got an enormous problem in defence. I mean, they've conceded 25 offloads the Tigers have come up with, which is huge. They've conceded 38 missed tackles. It's been 10 clean line breaks for the Tigers.
Here's Hodgson. Quick catch and pass. Cavell's dropped it. It's just a bit of a training run at the moment for the Tigers, running through a few of their moves.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. It hasn't been much more than that this second half. I thought the first half, the Tigers started off, put a couple of early tries on in that first 5 minutes, and then Parramatta steadied the ship. And going into
lock in.
Near half-time, I thought they were in with it. But then just on half-time, I think that try right on half-time broke the back of the Parramatta side. This second half, they just haven't been competitive.
Scotty Sattler going a little bit higher there on width. The referee said play on. Here's Afamasaga over the halfway line. 2 minutes of play remaining. Hindmarsh, 49 tackles. Another hit up. Makes 17. Witt. Thorman. Now Witters. Almost got the giddly flick out the corner there to Graham. Decided to take the tackle. Now Thorman. Long ball. Afamasaga. He straightens the attack. Gets away from Sattler. Pops it out the back there to Witt. Now Hindmarsh. He cuts out Burt and finds Anderson, who's gone from right wing to left wing to try and block this right-hand side defence for Parramatta. Crossfield kick from Witt. Here comes Graham. Who wants it? Ash Graham has got it. Changeover. Oh, I thought Cavell might have got some fingers to it. The Parramatta players, I should say, don't argue. So the Tigers come up with some possession. A minute to go. 33 points to 6. The West Tigers over Parramatta, and the season of woe continues for the Eels.
And the Tigers, they started this game confident after back-to-back wins the last couple of weeks, and they've gone from strength to strength in this game. Their halves have performed especially well. Their forwards have laid a tremendous platform, and out wide, they've just been almost unstoppable on their left-hand side attack. So it's been a tremendous all-round performance, and the faithful that have turned out in record numbers here this afternoon have had a spectacle to really remember. It's been a tremendous performance.
They'll go home happy, that's for sure. As the Tigers put 3 in a row together for the first time in about 4 years. Anderson will play it, and they will be on their feet here at Leichhardt. They stand as one and salute the West Tigers, who have thrashed Parramatta by 33 points to 6.
This match brought to you by Tooheys New. Tooheys New, what mates do. The Extreme Nissan X-Trail. Lowe's Men.
Really got their backs to the wall from the word go.